My name's John McClain. I own a small post-audio studio here in Las Vegas called The Dog and Pony Show. And I've got 3 rooms. We do voiceover work, commercials, independent film, you name it. Being in Las Vegas, we do a lot of work for the casinos, as you might imagine. We also do a lot of work for the gaming companies. We do sound design, custom music for slot machines, poker machines. We do a couple of episodic TV things here in town. The hotels like to run episodic television for their in-room channels. We do work for the local PBS channel, documentaries, local series called Outdoor Nevada, which showcases running around in the desert, having a great time in the wilderness. The thing about being a post facility in a smaller market is you've got to do a bunch of different stuff, right? I like, for instance, the guys in LA, I'm a dialogue editor. Well, I'm a mixer. Well, I'm a sound effects editor. That doesn't fly in a market like this. I'm a dialogue editor and a mixer. I do voiceover work. I record voiceovers or edit voiceovers. I'm the Foley artist and the Foley recordist, right? So you got to do a lot of different things, and you've got to learn to do them well. And when you need to do so many things and you need to learn to do them well, you want a piece of software that works with you and doesn't fight you. I ended up buying Nuendo and teaching myself Nuendo. Man, when I started, I wanted to kill myself for spending the money, right? Because this piece of software calls this button a do flanger, and this piece of software calls this button a watch-a-mahui. And that drives you crazy because they do the same thing, but they have different names. And then I discovered that you can create your own key commands in Nuendo. So I took all of my key commands from this other piece of software and wrote them into Nuendo over like a day and a half. And now, all of a sudden, my learning curve flattens out and I'm able to move pretty quickly. And then as I dive further into this, I discover that I can write pretty much any key command for anything. And I start to think to myself, wow, this is really satisfying to my creative brain. I don't have to sit there and go, what's that key command where this finger goes here and this one goes here and then these 2 fingers do this? Instead, I can just assign that to one key. And now I'm off to the races. And then I discover this crazy thing in here. Let's see, key commands, show macros. So like, let's say we're editing a piece of music for a commercial and the client wants us to move really quickly, right? Because he's got to get it on the air. So I've got this piece of music and it's 3 minutes long, and it's mastered out to digital 0, because that's what the music libraries do now. And I've got to knock it down to a 30 and a 15, and I've got to reduce the level so that it'll sit nicely under my voiceover. So now I've got a macro I wrote that automatically, I hit one button, and it automatically drops the level of this piece of audio by 6 dB. So now it's going to sit nicely under there. And then I wrote another macro so I can drop into shuffle mode, cut, and automatically drop right back into slip mode. So as I go through, it's cut on this beat, hit this button, everything comes together, but I'm not still in shuffle mode so that I accidentally forget and screw up something that I timed perfectly that's farther down the line, right? How many times have we all made that mistake? So getting back to being a studio in a market this size, to make money, you have to do a lot of things really well. You want to constantly be creative, and you need to be able to move fast. So being able to write my own key commands, turn those key commands into macros to do things, speeds up my workflow like crazy. A couple of days ago, before I came down here to the show to do this same demonstration, I had a client drop 2 scripts in my inbox. I'm the voiceover talent. I've got to get those cut. I have another client with an emergency, got to get that cut, and I've got to make changes on director's notes on a film. So I jump into the booth, I cut my scripts. They've got this cool iPad app that lets me control Nuendo from the booth. And then I get the other voice talent in, and I cut his stuff, and then I make the changes to director's notes. I get 3 jobs done in 1 hour because everything moves so quickly. I get to bill an hour each for each job, but I got them all done in 1 hour. That's great stuff, right? It's bottom line when you own a studio and you're in a smaller market, and it's also about speed. One of the things that allows me to move quickly, this is the coolest thing in the world. All right, so this is the voiceover job that I did, right? So I recorded it here, and then I drop it down here, and I make the edits. Let's go over here. I've got to get this happening really fast, right? So I just wander down here, and oh, here's a breath, so cut and trim and close it up. And I've already got a pre-roll set, so Nuendo just plays right through, and oh, there's another breath. And I cut that out, and I slide this up. The idea being that everything is super fast, and everything is contained right here. I can edit the entire VO right from here, and the only time I need my keyboard, which now lives over here, is when I need to name files at the end of it. All my recording, all of my editing is done without a keyboard, just the mouse and this section. That's really fantastic. Once your muscle memory is up to speed, you can just fly on this thing. We do a lot of telephony for the casinos, right? Horrible sounding stuff, but here it all is right here. 8 kilohertz wave files, sure, that's what you want. Knock yourself out. You can even normalize to an integrated loudness when you're exporting a television series, for instance. Nuendo comes with a built-in loudness meter. So you get your LUFS metering. You can even save your own setup. So this client wants a -2 true peak, but this client wants a, some crazy spike setting like they're still into -10 from the beta SP days. You can just save each client as a preset in there. If you get your mix close but not spot on, let's say I'm plus or minus -24 with a true peak of -2, and I got my true peak in, but I'm a little hot on the mix. Well, when I go to export the mix, I don't recommend you do this, but you can, and it works. You can just say, oh, well, normalize to -23. So say I'm at 22.6 and I need to get on to the next job. I can just normalize it to -23 right here, and I'm done. We can also network our Nuendo systems together. So independent film, not the greatest budgets in the world, but they're really fun to work on. So we take them on. I've got 3 rooms. I can be the master project. Say I'm doing the dialogue edit, and I can have a guy down the hall doing the music edit, and I can have another guy placing sound effects. I'm the master project. These guys are slaves to me. When they say he gets a music edit done, he clicks a button to upload the project. I see it show up in my Nuendo toolbar. I click the button. Boom. His music edit spills out on my system in real, super faster than real time. There it is. Same with the sound effects. I just keep hitting update. The sound effects spill out. They click update, the dialogue spills across their desktops. So we've got 3 rooms working on the same project, but 3 different guys working on different sections of the project, but everybody updating each other's computers in real time.